Okay, so hello and welcome to this next entry in Magic the Gathering Practice Makes Progress. I am Kisara. So life got a little bit in the way from the last time I practiced and the last time Drake and I had the chance to be able to go back and forth and whatnot. But now that life is a little bit more on the easy side or less tough than it was at that moment, we are able to get back into it. One of the goals we have is to try to get into more tournaments. Um, I guess you can call it like a resolution for like next year, but ideally we'd like to get into a bunch as much as we possibly can. So in order to do that, you need to get gems, you need to get the coins, you need to get the tokens. So I'm bringing back Magic Gathering Practice Makes Progress because I am, of the two of us, the least prepared for tournaments themselves. So the hope is practice enough times where at least by the next one, the next draft or limited tournament that comes up, I have at least some semblance of a fighting chance for it. I joined back in on the Wilds of Eldraine. I actually pre-ordered. I actually got one of the pre-orders for it, and I'm okay with the set. I like the Eldraine set. I do. I love fairy tales and all that kind of stuff. This one, it was okay. It didn't quite fill my fancy as far as like cards I feel like kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh style feel a little bit better. Not too bad. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is switch into this. All right, so here we go. The first thing you can notice is I have packs to open. They've been sitting. I need to open them, so that's the game plan for today. So let's see what we got. So we have Wilds of Eldraine packs to open. This first one. Let's see. I have a bunch of first Grand Ball Guest. White, blues. I got a crafting card. This one, I got Hydra. I'm sorry, Hydra. Hydra of the Icy Crown, legendary creature, human warlock. Whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, you may pay 1. Oh, when you do, choose either one to create a 4/4 white and blue token, 1/1 counter on each creature you control, or scry. And of course, I have Bitter Blossom, alternative art, tribal enchantment fairy. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 black fairy rogue with flying. So this part here, like I was saying, is like some of the new stuff that I need to get back into. That's sometimes when you leave the game long enough, it's like, oh, they introduced new stuff. Good. So this is one of them. Tribal enchantment is a new one for me. It kind of just feels like a board enchantment, you know? All right, so that's that one. We're going to continue on. Next one. All right. Let's see. I love red. Red and green is my best set when I play. I think one of the first videos I made for Practice Makes Progress is a red deck. So it goes red, green are my go-tos because they're the ones I'm better at. Red I'm the best at. Green I'm okay with. The combination of two I'm all right with. Black comes next, oddly enough, much to my own chagrin, followed by blue, followed by white. White is like my least favorite color to play of all times. All right, Minecraft Daredevil card, Dwarf Knight. I love dwarfs. The dwarf cards in my very first set that Drake made me, absolutely demolishing. I love them. Let's see, what is that one anyway? So first off, it's an instant. Target creature gets 2/1 till end of turn, and then it's a 4/2 creature. Nice. Ratcatcher Trainee. Create 2 1/1 black rat creature tokens with this creature can't block. That's not too bad. I like the creation of rats. I had a really good rat deck in my black deck a few years ago. They're terrifying. Frantic Firebolt. Dark Tutelage alt art. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. Put that into your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value. The artwork's nice. And then Regal Bunnycorn. I love that. I would play white specifically just for this creature alone. But Regal Bunnycorn's power and toughness are equal to the number of non-land permanents you control. Okay. Let's see. Rhyme for Reindeer, Attendance, Take My Nightmares Again, Cheeky Mouse, which is absolutely adorable. I love the mouse, less the background witch creature in there. Brave the Wilds is pretty nice. Unruly Catapult. Yep. Raid Bombardment is my alt art card. Very pretty. Whenever a creature you control with power of 2 less attacks. Raid Bombardment deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that the creature is attacking. I like that. It's kind of like Scorch Beast, but like a little more limiting. Or not limiting. It's no, it is like Scorch Beast. All right, and here we have Godric, the Cloaked Reveler. Shoo, Wednesday, shoo. All right, Legendary Human Noble, Haste, Celebration, which is not new to me, but I'm still learning it. As long as 2 or more non-land permanents are entered the battlefield under your control, Godric is a dragon with a base power and toughness of 4/4, flying, and red. Dragons you control get 1/0 until end of turn. It loses all other creature types. I will eventually have to figure out how to use Godric. That last sentence kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop, but I think I get it. As long as 2 or more non-land permanents enter the battlefield under your control, he's more strong. He's a 4/4 stronger with flying. Alright, Walls of Eldraine next pack. Okay, Gingerbread Hunter, pretty cool. Ginger Brute is awesome. I actually do like the Ginger Brute as an artifact creature. I was like, I need to get a few more of these because I actually just like the art. It makes me feel good. It's a nice 1 mana creature that you can just kind of throw out there. The Beanstalk Worm, yeah, I have the art card for that one from the pre-reorder. It's pretty nice. You may play additional land this turn and reach. I would probably say it's equivalent to its worth. It's a good card to have, but I'm really bad at playing anything that requires 5 mana or more. I need to get better at that. Here's my art card of enchantment. Creature tokens you get 1/1 and have vigilance. And my deal is a mythic wild card. I got a lot of craftings. Fairy Fencing and Minstrosity is certainly a look. Weirdly enough, like the black cards tend to have the cards that make me feel something. I know, like, I know some people are just like, they kind of read it, but I like my cards to give me like a sense of like wonder, you know? I like my cards to make me feel good or feel spectacular, or like my Dwarven deck. I feel real powerful with my Dwarven deck, and when I first saw it, all I saw was like 7 dwarves, and I was like, dude, I can't go wrong with 7 of one card in there, you know? And then I read it, I was like, oh, that's nice. Scorch Beast too. Scorch Beast, when it was a card that I would use often, along with Thorbin in my red deck, I loved it because not only was it like just a kind of powerful card in its own rank, it was a powerful low card in its own rank, and it kind of made me feel normal. Like that kind of card just makes me feel like, oh yeah, this card speaks to me on like a internal level, you know, the opposite of Vulcan like. But I like my decks to feel that way. I know when Drake crafts commander decks, when he presents them to like as presents for me, he always takes into account, like, he's like, oh, she'll love this art. Like the art might take precedent over the actual card itself, and then have to learn how to use it properly. All right, so in this set, the black card seems to have quite a few feels cards than anything. Though I like the Minstrosity, when it dies, create a food token, because I love food tokens. Food token decks are I actually like creating those. All right, so I have Creature Whale, Horned Lock Whale, instant first, owner of the target attacking creature you don't control puts it on the top or bottom of their library. And then Flash and Ward 2, Horned Lock Whale enters the battlefield tapped unless it's your turn. That's a high costing card for like the creature side of it. Lagoon Breach instant, not so bad, but yeah, it's a good sorcery. I don't know if I would be able to use it effectively in late game, because like I said, the first time I started playing or creating this set, late game is my bane. If you watch that 30-minute with Drake where I'm winning for like the first 8 turns, and then after 8 turns it turns into a nightmare for me, yeah, that's generally it. My art card is Oppression. Whenever an enchantment, whenever a player casts a spell, that player discards a card. I love that. And like I said, the black cards, black mana cards, seems to be winning the feels here for the moment. Don't let Drake hear you. He'll make me a black deck, and I don't want one. Not yet, anyway. Or maybe I might just have to make one. I think that's where we're at. Oh, armory mice. They're so cute. Alright, so we have some pretty decent cards. Triumphant Turn, Root Rider Fawn, Howling Galefang. Picnic Ruiner is a fun one. It's a fun one because it's an interesting card to play with a 4 mana, you know, with like a 3 or 4 mana cards, especially when it gets the double strike. Okay, Johann Stopgap, Bargain. I don't know what Bargain is. You may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast a spell. So it costs 2 less to cast it if it's bargained. So if I sacrifice, okay, so it's saying if I sacrifice one of these things, it will cost me 1 instead of, oh sorry, it will cost me 2 instead of 4. Okay, that's not too bad. Plus you get the draw card bit. My art card is Impact Tremors, a red card. Enchantment, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent. I think I've played this a couple times. It's a really handy one. It's a really handy one when you just need like a lot of impact. I think this would probably have helped quite a few of my battles against Drake himself. And another mythic. Crafting mythic. Alright. Okay, so we have Dutiful Griffin, Ginger Brute again. Still love Ginger Brute, still my favorite. Snare Master Sprite. When it enters, you may pay 2. If you do so, tap a target creature. That's not too shabby. Two-Headed Hunter. Target gets double strike until end of turn. And Menace. For 5, Menace is not bad. Menace, I actually enjoy having several creatures with Menace because it just makes it a lot easier to force someone else's hand. Troublemaker, Oofy. I have the card in like my stack of Wild of Eldraine over in my binders over there. I can live without. My art card is Ground Seal, enchantment. When Ground Seal enters the battlefield, draw a card. Cards in the graveyard cannot be the targets of spells or abilities. Good if I am playing something that would require me to pull cards from my graveyard. It's not, I only do that with black decks often enough. I don't usually do that with all the other colors to use things in my graveyard. And then I got Regal Bunnycorn again. Yay! Alright. So let's see. Toadstool Admirer is okay. Ginger Brute again. Tough Cookie is awesome. Food Golems, I will say this. I do want to have a deck of Food Golems because I just think that would make me happy. Just knowing that I'm either making food golems or food tokens and like the combination of the two. I love food in like real life. Like I love to cook, I love to eat, I love going to fancy restaurants. So I feel like a food deck would just make me invigorated as a player, not just like for the kind of cards they have, but just because they're fun. Food decks are fun. Because food is fun. Let's see. When Tough Cookie enters the battlefield, create a food token. Pay 3 mana, 1 green. 2 mana, 1 green. Target non-creature artifact becomes a 4/4 artifact creature till end of turn, or sacrifice and you gain 3 life. Not a most powerful card, but a handy one. My art card is Stab Wound. Enchantment Aura. Enchant a creature. It gets -2/2 at the beginning of the upkeep. The creature's controller loses 2 life. Interesting. And my reveal is Lord Skitter's Blessing. When Lord Skitter's Blessing enters the battlefield, Create a Wicked Roll token attached to a target creature you control. At the beginning of your draw step, if you control an enchanted creature, you lose 1 life and you draw an additional card. I can see this one being actually, if I did create a black deck, which to be perfectly honest, like seeing my reveals in this set here, I probably should. I think I would actually be able to utilize this one for early game or even mid game. An enchanted creature gets 1/1. I get additional cards. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room as far as decks are concerned. When this R is put into the graveyard, I'm sorry, this is the token. When this token gets put into the graveyard, each opponent loses a life, which is pretty good. Okay, continuing on with the thoughts and soliloquies of Kisara. Okay, so I have craft card. Vampiric Rites is my art card. Sacrifice enchantment. Pay 1 mana, 1 black mana. Sacrifice a creature, gain 1 life, and draw a card. Nice. Probably wouldn't use it. I don't like wasting cards. If it's in my deck, sacrifice is not my go-to. I know people are kind of like a lot of sacrifice, but there's like, okay, season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! There's that character in the Orichalcos that like uses the same 3 cards over and over again and like doesn't sacrifice anything, and he was like scolding Yu-Gi-Oh! During the process, like, you sacrifice cards without thinking about it and don't even think about like the like basically telling Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you don't believe in the heart of the cards because you willingly sacrifice for the sake of the so-called greater good. Whereas he's like, I'm going to use the same 3 and I'm just going to keep powering them up because I believe in these 3 cards. That's what I kind of feel like with sacrificing cards, but maybe not to that extent. But it kind of like sits inside there. I don't like to sacrifice because sometimes sacrifices just feel like I put a card in there that could easily be and then wasted. I just don't like wasting cards. Now, I think that might be the wrong way to think about it, but personally, from just like the way I am as a person, I tend to not do the sacrifice route if I can avoid it. Alright, flick a coin. Deals 1 damage to any target. You create a treasure token, draw a card. Actually, now that I think about it, I'd probably do a treasure token, food token deck. Maybe that's what I'll think about making in my next video, a treasure token, food token deck. I gotta go through my cards and see what I got. Okay, and my reveal card is a rare wild card thing. Crafting thing. Alright. So, Torch the Tower is very pretty, by the way. I like that one. Break the spell. Destroy a target enchantment. If a permanent you controlled or token was destroyed this way, draw a card. Yeah, maybe. It's kind of like that, kind of like is either sacrifice or not sacrifice. I can either one. Let's see. Greta Sweet Tooth Scourge. When Greta Sweet Tooth Scourge enters the battlefield, create a food token. Sacrifice the food token, put a 1/1 counter on a target creature, activate only as a sorcery. Or, since it's a black-green card, sacrifice 1 and 1 black, sacrifice a food, you draw a card, and you lose a life. So this one, you know what? Yeah, a food and treasure token. I don't know what colors because I have the option of red black or green black for this one. For both of those options. I haven't decided which one I want to do. I did a red deck last time. I probably should create a different color. And at some point I do need to create a dual color, so we'll see. Air Raid Bombardment again, and my reveal card is Werefox Bodyguard. Oh, so handsome. Okay, creature, elf, fox, knight. Flash. When Werefox Bodyguard enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 other target non-fox creature until Werefox Bodyguard leaves the battlefield. If you pay 1 mono, if you play 2 mono and 1 has to be white, sacrifice Were Bodyguard, you gain 2 life. That seems alright. It's a nice 2/2 at the cost of 3 mana. Not too bad for a rare creature, I should say. Okay. Unruly Catapult again. Love it. A Conceited Witch. Absolutely love the artwork of the Conceited Witch. Of the witch creatures. Of the Snow White, kind of fairest of them all. I love her. I love this art. And a Pavliva. is great. Sorcery, create a Wicked Roll token attached to a creature you control. And Menace. Like I said, I like Menace, even if it is a low-cost creature. This is a 3-mana creature with 2/3 power toughness. Yeah, I'd probably like the idea of using Conceited Witch. My art card is Garruk's Uprising. Enchantment. When Garruk's Uprising enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, draw a card. Pretty good for an enchantment, I think. All right, so my reveal: Belluna Grand Squall, a green, red, and blue mana creature, mythic rare, legendary creature, giant noble. To be perfectly honest, she looks super comfortable, and that gingerbread house looks delicious. First thing is that seeks thrills, costs 5 mana, 1 of each color plus 2 more. Mill 7 cards, then put all the cards you have that have an adventure into your hand. And then as a creature, trample. Permanent spells you cast have an adventure cost of 1 less to cast. I have never done a 3-color deck yet. 2 colors is like the maximum of my skill sets at the moment. 3 colors is pushing it, but that does sound like a really cool card to try to use when I get up to that point. All right, last of the Wilds of Eldraine, at least the purple ones. Okay, let's see. Redcap Thief, Archive Dragon, Flying Ward, Scries for 2. That's not. Oh. It enters the battlefield Scry for 2 with Flying and Ward, 4/6 power toughness, cost 6. I don't know, if I was making a blue deck, this would definitely be like, I'd have to be really good for endgame. I feel like my blue, I play blues like I play red, and that's not really ideal from some of the blue cards I've seen or tried to play with. Okay, so my reveal: Moonshaker Cavalry, costs 8 mana. Spirit Knight, flying. When Moonshaker Cavalry enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain flying and XX until you end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Devastating if I knew how to cast 8 mana ever. And then my art card, doubling Seasoned Enchantment, Mythic Enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens. Okay, I have to have this. It would, if an effect would put 1 or more counters on the permanent you control, it would put twice as many of those counters on the permanent instead. I would absolutely do this, and the art is astonishing. Especially if I do want to create a... Okay, so this is green, right? It costs 5, 1 green mana, 4 others. So it does seem like it's pushing me toward green-black. Though I feel like if I did actually start getting into a triple color deck, it would probably be red, green, black. That's where this set seems to be pushing me. It's like, if you're gonna go, it's gonna be green, black, and then a separate red, or combine them all, create a token deck with all 3 colors. Have at it, you. Okay, I have 3 Eldraines that I have not opened that I got ages ago in the mail. So here, Grand Ball Guest, got 2 Accident Prone Apprentice is me. Like, that's me. Like, everything about that is me. I am accident prone. So I would include it just based off of the title itself. Instant adventure. Until end of turn, target creature loses all abilities and becomes a blue frog with 1/1 power toughness. And then and then creature costs 2 mana. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Accident Prone Apprentice perpetually gets 1/1. This ability also triggers if Accident Prone is in exile. And then Stingblade Assassin is my other black. Flying, flash, destroy a target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Not too shabby of a black card. I like having them. Growing Old Together. I love this. This picture is so nice. This art is very calming. And it seems super appropriate that it's green-blue. Seek 2 creature cards from among the top 10 of your cards, then shuffle. They get perpetually 1/1. It's a nice card. It just looks pretty, and it just feels exactly like it should. All right, so I got Talion's Throne Guard, Fairy Wizard, Flash, Bargain, Flying. When Talion's Throne Guard enters the battlefield, return up to one target spell or non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If Talion's Throne Guard was bargained, that card perpetually gains this spell cost 2 more to cast. Would 100% be like my Bane if I had it in a blue deck. My art card, Fraying Sanity, which sometimes feels like how it is when I play against Drake. And Aura Curse, enchant player. At the beginning of each end step, the enchanted player mills X amount of cards, where X is the number of cards put into their graveyard anywhere this turn. I might make a blue deck and then see what Drake does about that. Yeah, what are you gonna do about that? Huh? Yeah, it's pretty. Very fluid. Very much... Yeah, it's very flowy. Tamphanon. Well done. This art is absolutely stunning. All right, 2 more. All right. Second Little Pig. Second Little Pig perpetually becomes Boar Spirit. If I pay all of this, with a base power of toughness 4/4, activate if it's not a spirit. I kind of wish they had something with the 3 little pigs all combined, like they did for the dwarfs, but I can't have it all. My art card is Intangible Virtue again, and my reveal is a rare wild card crafting card. And I got another Ginger Brute. All right, last pack. First Little Pig. Yay! All right, I have the first Little Pig. So I just had the first Little Pig. I have the second Little Pig. I'm just missing the third one, who was the smartest of the set. Sugar Rush is terrifying and pretty much feels exactly like a Sugar Rush does. Grabby Giant is adorable. Create a treasure token and then has reach. And if you pay the mana, sacrifice an artifact or land to draw a card. Draconic Debut deals damage. X damage to any target. The next dragon creature you spell costs X less to cast. Dark Tutelage again for my art card. And my final reveal of this particular card deck pack opening revealing thing is... Outfitted Jouster. When Outfitted Jouster enters the battlefield, conjure a card named Steelclaw Lance and a card named Brawler's Plate onto the battlefield and attach them to the Outfitted Jouster. If damage would be dealt to the Outfitted Jouster while it is equipped, prevent that damage. When damage is prevented this way, sacrifice an equipment attached to the Outfitted Jouster. They would get, with the Steelclaw Lance, they would get +2/2, and yeah, +2/2. All right, so that is all of the packs that I have had yet to open. The next video I'll probably do is creating a deck. And like I said, I'm probably going to create like a token deck of some sort, whether it's a treasure token deck or a food token deck, because food is awesome, or both, because I like treasure and I like food. I mean, who doesn't like treasure and who doesn't like food? Well, irrelevant. I would probably make it. All right, so thank you all for watching. I hope to make soon more and more videos of as I practice makes progress through Magic the Gathering. Until then, have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.